Here we go. All right. I am so very excited to be able to deliver this webinar and to really talk to my small business owners about the importance of the pivot. Now, I do want to say this because I run as well in network marketing business. I will not be talking about network marketing. So let me say that from the beginning. This is truly for my individuals who are looking, and there will be some things that you can take from this and run with it, but I'm talking more global, small business owner, and really excited to share this information, guys. Can I tell you that we are in a unique period and a unique moment in history and in life. Before I get started, my name is Michelda Johnson. For those of you that don't know me, and I see a couple of people on that I don't necessarily know very well, and I'm just excited. And I know that you're probably saying, what the crap are you excited about? Because, and listen, I want to say going in, because I won't go back and revisit this, guys, we are where we are. My prayers, my heart is extended. I've had family that is in the hospital. I've had things happening around me, people I know, friends, family, those types of things. So there is not a moment and not a part of me that is insensitive to what's going on around us. Can I say that? I want to make sure I'm clear about that. I am very sensitive to what's going on. But I also realize, and I wrote this in a book about the defining moment. And with that, I realized that defining moments, and you guys can chat with me, open up the chat box. I love to see your comments. There are defining moments in all of our lives where things happen and it can truly adjust and change where you're headed from here, what that next looks like, what will you be, what will you become. And I truly believe that from an entrepreneurial standpoint, this is a defining moment. This is a moment that will absolutely make a difference for the next 10 years. And so how you respond in this season and the things that you do in this moment are going to be important. They are going to be critical. So I want to say that with the brevity, that as I'm saying I'm excited, I want you to understand that that's not because I am insensitive to what's going on around us, right? I am not in any means insensitive to that, but I'm also very aware of what this moment can do for us if we allow it. If we do the things that I'm going to share with you in the next hour, if we do those things. So thank you all for showing up. Thank you for being a part of my tribe, my village. Thank you for thinking enough of me to give me 1 hour to share what I hope and pray, what I believe will be very important as you maneuver through the next stages and the next phases. And even as I've meditated on this and I've really given it some thought, the only thing that resonates is the word pivot. That has resonated so strong, so loud with me, that when I started thinking about how do I help, how do I show up for entrepreneurs who really need some assistance? What do I need to do? Guys, that word has been the pivot. And so that's where we are. I want to show you how to reset and relaunch. I want to show you how to show up in the marketplace and with a posture that is truly indicative of who and where you are designated, purpose, designed to be. So welcome to the training. We're going to talk about why launch now. Why is this the time, Michelda? Why should I be thinking about entrepreneurship? Everything is falling down around me, right? The world is sheltered in place and shuttered down, and so much is happening. Why is this the moment and the time for entrepreneurship? And we're going to talk about that. If you got the email, the last one I sent should have had a workbook. I hope you've got that and can take notes, but if not, I hope you've shown up with paper and pencil, because this is a training session. And then we're going to talk about the 4 steps to launch your online business, but we're going to talk about offline too, right? Because some things work in the online space and some things may not work in the online space. So we want to talk about how to bring those two together so that you are effectively working a business offline and online, right? But many of us, what we need to do is that pivot for us is going to require that we dig in and put some resources together to help us work an online business, right? And then I want to share with you next steps, right? So thank you again so much for joining us. I'm really excited. So who is this training for? This training is for, number one, that brick and mortar entrepreneur. This is for that person that has built their business as a walk-in business, right? Who has built their business as they've got a brick and mortar, they've got a building, they've got a site, they've got a site, physical site that people come into, right? A clothing store, right? This could be a hairstylist. This could be Big John's Barbecue, right? I see my friend Jonathan Handbrick on here. This could be, you know, a regular brick and mortar where you have a physical place. I see Miss Yoakley on here, who runs a fitness business and is accustomed to going to a brick and mortar site, right? So that's who we're talking about. And we want to make sure that we help these individuals know how to transfer from brick and mortar to click and order, right? How to transfer from a physical presence in a building to how do I now expand my reach beyond those 4 walls. And can I tell you that when you begin to really expand your business beyond those walls, you will begin to expand your business in other cities, in other states, in other countries, right? Because when you go to click and order, depending upon your product, then there are no limits. So definitely this is the training for that individual. The second is for that person who is not sure how to scale and level up, right? You got a business and you've been, but how do I get to the next? How do I scale it? How do I grow it? How do I get more than, you know, my church members to buy my product? How do I write this book that I want to write and then get it beyond just, you know, the 50 people who love me, right? That's that second person that you've got something that burns deep on the inside of you, and you're looking for how do I scale and really level up and take that to the next level. And then that third person is for those that are looking to start an online business. And I specifically put coaching and consulting because in this moment, in this now moment, and I'll tell you why in a minute, this is where you want to show up, right? People are looking for somebody to hold their hand and walk them through the process. They are looking for somebody who will say, this is what you need to do. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. And so that's what that's the third type of person that this training is for. Does that resonate with anybody that's on this call? And again, chat with me so that I know you're following in with me. Does that resonate with you? So who am I? Gosh, that picture is like, whoa, she's coming at me. Listen, guys, my name, of course, is Michelle Johnson. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I love business. I love everything about business. I love the startup. I love the growth. I love rolling up my sleeves and digging in. I am really good at deployment. I am really good at operations and what makes sense. And I am a strategic thinker. So if I could put all of that in, that's who I am. My first business was when I was 20 years old. And if you are familiar with, I'm telling my age now, we used to provide the gold plating stuff to gold plate emblems on cars. So we would go into the dealership, 20 years old, go into the dealership, we had contracts with a couple of dealerships, and we would, when they got new cars in, we would gold plate the emblems on the cars, right? So, I am telling my age. But you know what? The entrepreneurial bug didn't really hit me then. It wasn't until a few years later that it really hit me, and I opened up a consulting practice in 2002 that was really focused on, usually my clients were Fortune 500 companies, they were government entities. I've serviced everything from the city of Atlanta to the city of West Palm Beach. Chicago Public Schools has been a client, AT&T, Bell South, Home Depot, right? So that was my space from a consulting standpoint. And I would go in and assess organizations and do efficiency analysis to help them figure out how to pivot. So when I tell you I'm in my space, I'm totally in my space. In the middle of all of that, my mom got sick, and so I needed to move from Atlanta and transition to Huntsville. And in doing that, I switched gears, opened up Edible Arrangements. And in doing that, I developed a huge passion for small business owners, for single sole proprietor entrepreneurs who really are, they are the heart and soul of our economy. They are the heart and soul, many of them the breadwinners in their families, many of them the bankers in their families, and are really helping each of those members grow and expand to the next level. So that became my heartbeat, right? In realizing that sometimes in this, if I can be very honest, is sometimes in this world of small business entrepreneurship, people are not forthcoming with information. People are not forthcoming with, come on y'all, can I get an amen there? People are not necessarily forthcoming with information to help you grow. And so a lot of what I did in growing Edible Arrangements was bootstrapping, was learning, was trial and error, was let me do this and then go do this and then let me do this. But I figured out a rhythm to my business that really began to help me understand how to maneuver through the minutia and be successful. And so I am known, people who know me know I'm very transparent. I will share my good, my bad, and my ugly all day, every day. And really my goal is to help you grow your business. I have operated successfully businesses both online and offline, right? I have worked in the brick and mortar space, Edible Arrangements. I worked in the consulting space where it was me and 2 employees that were part-time or PRN. They worked from home, I worked from home. We showed up at a client's and delivered results. And then Edible Arrangements, brick and mortar and online business, network marketing, online business, and of course my coaching business where I get the opportunity to work with individuals and do the coaching with them online. So I've shown up in each of those spaces and really have a breadth of knowledge and information. Sometimes I feel like I've got so much information that I'm struggling on how do I get this all out so that it makes sense to the end user. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's start with the work. What do I do now and how do I create revenue? So that has to be the burning question as a small business owner right now is how do I create revenue? If you've got this idea, your immediate answer is what do I need to do today to start that pivot and create a stream of additional income in my bank account, in my household. And that's where so many people are. We know the unemployment number has reached over 10 million. So can I tell you that entrepreneurship is no longer a luxury? It is a necessity. It is something that you've got to determine that this is what I want to do. So I've always been called, Michelle, you a go-getter. That's what people have called me all my years. But guess what? I realized that if I didn't go get it, nobody was going to give it to me. And that's the mindset that you've got to have now in this season, is that I've got to go get it. Now, some of you have, many of you, most of you, all of you, I think, have that mindset. The challenge now is, how do I connect the dots, right? How do I figure out what that I'm going to go get it looks like, so that I'm showing up in the marketplace effectively, so that I'm showing up in a way that makes sense, and that I'm absolutely able to do business in a way that will take me to the next level. So let's talk about the pivot. The first thing is, what does pivot mean? What do you mean by that? And I'm not one to use a bunch of words without really understanding what they mean and the impact that it can have on you and your business. So the pivot usually occurs when a company makes a fundamental change to their business after determining, usually through market research, that their product isn't meeting the needs of their intended market. Companies will continue to pivot as these needs change or the company discovers new opportunities for the business. Can I tell you, somebody hashtag pivot for me in the chat. Can I tell you that every single business and every single business owner that is in tune to our present day economy is looking for how to pivot? They may not be saying it that way, they may not understand it that way, but that is what they are looking for, and that is what they are trying to do, is how do I pivot? What do I do? What steps do I take? What do I offer? Do I shut my business down? Come on, I've got people that is their very question, because they're trying to figure out what can they do. But guys, I've been watching businesses and paying attention to them, and I've seen some amazing businesses do some things that really speak to the pivot that they put in place. So I want to really walk you through some of those steps, and I'll give you some of those case studies. The question is, how do you want to show up in 2020? Now, I want to talk a little bit about 2020 and how you show up, because so many of you will show up in a way that you haven't been designated and purposed to show up. What do I mean? Your mindset has to adjust in order to show up in a way that will take you to the revenue you desire, the purpose you desire, the place that you need to be. If you don't adjust your mindset, it will absolutely create chaos in your life and will not allow you to be effective in your pivot. It's all about perspective. And so many people will have a perspective of, oh me, oh my, oh, this is, and they will be glued to the TV, glued to the news, and that will take them through a level of perspective that will make them miss how they're supposed to show up in 2020. How many of you had a vision for the life you desired before all of this Corona stuff hit, right? How many of you did your vision boards in December and January? And none of this, Rona, was not anywhere on your vision board. But does that mean that your vision has changed? Does that mean that you should change it? Maybe, maybe not, but it still means that you get the opportunity to choose based on the perspective that you have. So you have to absolutely decide, how do I want to show up in 2020? I hope you're writing that down, because this becomes those things that you really write in your journal about, that you really take when you are in your meditation, when you are in your place of really just quiet time. This is, y'all listen, all of this has to transition over into your business if you're going to be a success. See, let me help you understand. And I'm getting all excited. Y'all text me, whoever that know me really well, if I'm getting too excited. But listen, let me help you understand. I am not just a business owner. Let me put it another way. I am not just a woman in business or an individual in business. I am solely engulfed and a part of my business. I am my business and my business is me. Like, I don't know how to separate them, because for me, my business is my calling. Entrepreneurship is not a hat that I put on when I get bored and take it off when I don't have anything to do. Entrepreneurship is who I am. And to be successful, you've got to make well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but you've got to definitely make that commitment to your business and be ready to really define, how do you want to show up in 2020, right? What does that look like for you? Does it look like the second quarter? Well, here we are, right? But you've still got time to leverage. You've got time to put in place some key things that will help you start to grow. You've got to prep, and prep now though. What does that look like for you? And guys, can I tell you that until you get a vision for your future, you will never get there. I just said something right there. I hope y'all are taking notes. Until you get a vision for your future, you will never get there. See, you've got to visualize yourself in that place. If your goal is to be debt-free, you got to visualize yourself debt-free. If your goal is to be doing TED Talks and to see yourself speaking to large audiences, you got to picture yourself there. If your goal is to run $1 million business empire, you got to picture yourself there. But if you don't see yourself running $1 million empire, guess what? You never will, right? And that's okay. If your goal is to run a $100,000 webinar, then, $100,000 business, then be honest with yourself and adjust your capacity accordingly. Right? Nobody can tell you what that looks like, but you've got to be very clear on what those goals mean for you, what that looks like for you, what that vision is for you, and how you want to show up. So why entrepreneurship and why now? Well, guys, first of all, guess what? This is the year of the entrepreneur. You can tell whoever you heard it here first. This is the year of the entrepreneur. I don't know if you believe that or not. I don't know if you're just listen, you need to understand that if you are an entrepreneur, this is your year. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it feels like. Y'all, I'm getting dry. Hold on. Sorry. This is your year. So that's the first thing, is that if you're going to show up effective in the marketplace, your posture has to adjust to realize this is my year. Y'all, number two, this is a history repeater. Go back and do your homework. What happened after the Great Depression? Okay, Lil Debbie became a millionaire, right? I could give you business after business after business that after the Great Depression, those businesses that were able to pivot, they were able to scale, to level up, and they became millionaires, right? This is a history repeater. So don't look at, y'all, I'm telling you, if you can't do anything else, stay focused on what your goals are and how you want to show up. And then understand what's your calling. Why now? Because there are needs in the universe. There are so many needs in the universe, right? You are a gap filler. Oh my God, somebody needs to hashtag that like you believe it. I am a gap filler, right? I am a gap filler. I love that because you got to understand that there's a need that's out there and you can uniquely meet that need. I'll never forget when I opened Edible Arrangements, I was told by my accountant, the guy was interviewing accountants, right? And he told me, he said, there's not a need for your product in our marketplace, because what he told me was that there was a company in Huntsville called the Fudgy Nut, and that the Fudgy Nut had that business. There was no way I could get that business, that there was no place for me in the marketplace. And he told me, you will be out of business in the next 6 months. He said, and I'm being gracious, I don't really think you'll make it 6 months, right? I sent him the check when I sent him a copy of the check when I sold it on year 7. But my point was this: I had done my research and I knew that there was a group of people that were absolutely very health conscious, that wanted a healthy option, that were looking for more than just fruit trays, but they wanted fruit on a stick, right? I had done the research. I had taken 60 days to really understand that market before I rolled out that business. He had not. He was just speaking from an overall surface mentality and did not realize. You got to realize you are a gap filler. And guess why now? Because this is your season for wealth building. I don't know how many ways I can say this, but for those of you that truly get it, this is your season to build wealth. So what does it take? Number one, you got to be committed to the process. Now, what do I mean by that? So many people start, stop. Come on, raise your hand if you're guilty. Go ahead. Type in the comments. That's me. Start, stop. Here today, gone tomorrow, maybe today, ha, ha. There's no commitment to the process. That's the first thing. Secondly, so when I say commitment to the process, the first thing you got to do is show up authentic to you, right? I'm not, I'm a business coach, but I'm Michelle though. I am authentic about this. Jonathan Hambrick is on here. I coach him. He don't get nothing but Michelle though. And he can chat with y'all right now. That's what he gets. I don't show up in any other way. I don't know how to show up in any other way. He gets Michelle though. But he also gets that authenticity so that he can trust who I am. He can trust the knowledge that I'm bringing to the table. And that's how you've got to show up. You've got to show up authentic to you and your creative drive. Stop trying to be everybody else. Man, we don't need any more duplicate people. We need authenticity. We need people that will show up in their creative self and commit to that process. I need you to suspend your limiting beliefs. I'm going to let that sit right there for a minute, because sometimes we don't realize that we have these limiting beliefs that say, I can't, I'll try. Well, last time, ... And then the last time, or this won't work, or that won't work, or whatever. You have got to suspend your limiting beliefs. And until you do that and realize that the universe literally is waiting for you to show up on the scene, you will miss it and not walk in your true self. So that means adjusting your mindset. And then guys, guess what? I don't care how committed you are to it in your brain, in your mind. I don't care how committed to it. If you don't do the work, it ain't gonna happen. If you don't process and get some work done, it won't happen. So if you're looking to show up as a creative, as an influencer, as a whatever it is, you've got to do some work. You cannot sit and expect by osmosis to receive until you put some things out there. So you've got to do the work. You've got to bring home your work ethic. So here's what I know. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy or anything like that, but 90% of the people will remain curious and never take action. 90% of the people will say entrepreneurship sounds good, it looks good, I think this is what I'm supposed to do, but they will never take action. That's sad. Now, I don't mean that as a commentary to say that's you. You get to decide how you are going to show up and what will that look like. So first of all, you got to show up and realize what's in your hand. So many people start trying to reinvent the wheel and never work with what they have. So you got to start now. Number one, take assessment of what you have and start there. What is in your hand? What makes sense for who you are, for what you're bringing to the table? What do you have today that can serve you for these next 30 days? Number one, you got time. You got time. Man, oh man, if I could tell you the number of entrepreneurs that have approached me and said, Michelda, I just don't have time. You ain't got nothing but time now. So don't you, or should I say, be very careful that you don't allow Netflix to rob your time. You don't allow Amazon Prime to rob your time. HBO just came out. They're making their app free. Don't allow that to rob your time. If your kids are home, while they're studying and doing schoolwork, you need to be doing some work, right? You have nothing but time. You have the talent. I have no doubt about it that there are the most talented people that are on this webinar. And the question is, what are you going to do with that talent that's on the inside of you? And now let's talk about the resources. And you may say, well, yeah, I got all of that, but I don't think I have the resources. Yes, you do. You have resources. You have knowledge available. Guys, when I got started in business, Google was not what it was, right? Or what it is. It was not. I remember, and if anybody's followed me long enough, Facebook Live did not exist when I got started, especially on the Water Walker business coaching side, right? So how many of you have seen my videos where I used to record my videos on my phone and then post them live to my Facebook social media, right? So the resources now have completely expanded. And what I'm seeing, even in the business space, so many are offering 30-day free trials, 14-day free trials. They're offering 20% off of your website and hosting and stuff like that. I've seen so many resources, coupons that are out there, guys. So guess what? Get your product ready. Get that thing that you want to roll out ready. And guys, you've got so many resources out there to help you roll with it. The other second part is, what does the market say? What is your idea? Right? So I want you to write down on your sheet of paper, what is your idea? What idea? What is your business? And if you want to share it in the chat, please do. What is your business? I want to just kind of get an idea of what we're working with. What is your business? And from there, what is the market saying about that business? Right? You need to now dig in and do some research. That is the #1 step that most business owners and new entrepreneurs, sole proprietors, they do not do the research. What is the market saying about your business? Okay, I see it, women's boutique, right? So what is the market saying about your 3 of them? I love it. Oh, sis, she got 3 boutiques. I love it. I need to get a link, honey. What is the market saying then about your business? Is it a viable business? Absolutely, it's a viable business. Come on, do y'all not think people are not at home shopping, right? So it is absolutely a viable business. What is your demographic, right? So sometimes what we haven't done is dug deep enough to figure out what is our demographic. What age group are you serving? Where is that age group, right? Where does that age group shop? Where have they been shopping? And the other part of that market research is, where is that age group now? How do I get in front of them? How do I show them that I'm here? How do I market to them? Depending upon that age group, Instagram is your buddy, right? So you got to learn how to then scale your business on IG. Facebook may not be your jam, right? LinkedIn ain't gonna do you no good. You gotta learn TikTok may be your best friend. So you gotta really then break it all the way down to figure out, where do I find my demographic and how do I get my business in front of them? Jennifer Yoakley, fitness and exercise. How do you find people like me who are looking for an online resource to stay active, to exercise, right? And I think you found a lot of them. Now it's, how do you leverage that and go to the next level? And then finally, you have to look at your competition. Listen, guys, come on now, this is business. So it is absolutely okay to go to your competition, look at their stuff, and see what they are doing. And I even have a site, and if I think about it, I'll share it with you all if I can find it. I wrote it down so I can share it, where you can go and look at competition and see what ads are they boosting. Where are they, what do their ads look like? What are they putting on social media? What did they post over the last 10 days on Facebook? And you can sometimes, depending upon how you get to those ads, you can see how successful they were. How many of you want to know what your competition is doing? How many of you want to know what's being successful for them so that you can figure out how to make it work for you? I hope that makes sense, right? So step one is pivot, right? You've got to determine, what is your niche? Somebody write down, what is my niche? And I want you to define that for yourself. Sometimes so many people, their niche is so broad that it's difficult for me to do the research and to help them do the research, because they haven't narrowed in on what that looks like. See, you heard me say I'm a business coach, but you also heard me say that my passion is small business owners and sole proprietors who are looking to scale and to level up in their business, right? So now I've dropped that way down, right? I've got that to a point where I can almost now pinpoint who I'm looking for. So even when I'm boosting an ad, and I do boost ads or posts, I'm not just doing it to the world, because the world ain't my customer. I am looking for those individuals that not only fit my demographic, but also are buying. So now let me say this, and I think we'll get there in a minute. So if I hop ahead or get out of line, y'all just bear with me. Social media is great, but social media is you cannot be in and on social media just for the likes. Likes don't pay bills. Likes don't mean that they're buying. So what you've got to do is figure out how to transpose those likes into buyers. And that's what that's our goal, is to help you understand how to make those likes buyers. That means you got to show up authentic. You got to attract the right demographic. And you got to know, like, number one, does your price point fit the demographic that you're looking at, right? What is your competition? Is your competition offering a sale? What kind of sale are they offering? What's the ease in doing business with you versus doing business with your competition? You need to buy something from your competition. I'm just saying, some people don't want to do that, but I'm just saying it depends on what it is and what space you're in, because you want to see how they fulfill that order. And then you've got to identify. So as you identify your niche, that should absolutely take you to the problem that you solve. How many of you know what problem you solve? How many of you know where and how and what problem? Because if you are not meeting a need, then you're a luxury business, and maybe that's the space to be in this next 30 days, and maybe not. I'll give you an example, and I'll use Jonathan Hambrick and Big John's Barbecue as a case study now, and you'll hear me refer to it. So for example, barbecue restaurant, right? We know that all businesses that are not essential are closed, but restaurants can still be open for carry out only. Well, his business model was already carry out only, and in a state of transparency, we went back and forth in looking at brick and mortar and decided, maybe not now, right? Maybe later, but not now. But what is so important is that he has now developed a problem that he can solve, which will help the community. And I'll go into other details as we keep moving, but that's what you've got to do, is figure out, what is my niche? How do I show up in that niche? What problem am I solving? And then how do I scale that? Find those buyers that are going to absolutely buy it. You got to determine if you're doing a hobby or a business. I don't know about you, but for me, it was always about feeding my family. Period. End of story. That was it. If it's about a hobby, for me, it was never a hobby. I had to feed my family. So whatever the sacrifice was to make that happen, that's what I needed to do. You've got to understand how important it is for you and what priority you put on it. And is there a demand for what you are offering? Now, 7 money-making niches. This is for my people that are saying, I'm ready to show up in the entrepreneurial space. I don't know what to offer. I'm really confused about this. I'm not sure what I should be doing. Here are 7 money-making niches, and these are in order. So guys, number 1, life coach. Tamalisa Washington. I'm sorry, life coach. I called her name out on a recorded webinar. I'm so sorry, honey. Life coach. Y'all, people need direction. They are looking for which way to go and how and what and when and where. They are looking for somebody that can really give them some sound advice and reasoning, some sound things, right? Life coach. The second thing is health coach, Jennifer Yoakley. These are in order, right? Health coach. How are you going to show up? Now, remember, this is for my new people, especially those that are looking for coaching and consulting. I'm not saying that this is an all-inclusive list of what needs to happen or how or change your business. But what I am saying is that for those that are really looking for how do I show up in this space in the next 30 days, these are some winning. These are the winners here, right? Business coach, right? And I'm not even in the top 3. I'm feeling some kind of way, right? I'm not even in the top 3, right? What about a career coach? How many of you think we're going to need some career coaches after this, right? Because people are going to be wondering what's next. Relationship coach. How do I build these relationships? A financial coach. Guys, listen, people are going to need help. So now the question is, what are you leveraging? Let me get some water because I probably need real water. And I'm about to wrap this up. So we're almost finished. I hope you're taking some notes. And if you have questions, type them in the comments so that when I wrap up, I can go straight into the questions and not keep you long. So if you've got questions, even as I'm talking, type them into the comments so that I can go right into them. What are you leveraging? Number 1, social media. Most people, most of us, anybody leveraging social media, most of us, that's what we're leveraging. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all of those things. Let me tell you my challenge with a lot of folks that I see on social media who are also in business. I am on social media, very active. I have, my friends list is about 5, I'm at max, right? And so I decided not to start a new page and a new page and a new page. What I decided to do was delete some people. And I would encourage each of you tonight that if you're on Facebook, for example, go through your friends list. If they don't have a picture, click on it. And in some cases, it will say that they are inactive. If they're inactive, delete the account because they're taking up space on your account that you could have other people. So I deleted about 25 inactive people today. I also go through my friends list and delete duplicates. So there was one person who had 3 Facebook accounts and I was friends on all 3 of them. Don't need to be that, right? So I had to go through, I looked at which one had the last message posted, deleted the other 2. You've got to clean up your social media so that you can use it effectively for the people who are buying. If you have people that are posting junk that is not serving you well, and I'm sorry, but I'm just a beast at this. I'm about the business right now. And so when I look at people that are posting a bunch of junk, I delete them, right? Because I need to make room for people who are buying from me, who are going to get to my inbox, who are going to say, what are you doing? And will you help me? Most of my business is word of mouth. Most of my customers are word of mouth. Or they see me on social media because I show up authentic. I don't do a lot of, my messaging is fairly consistent. Most people know me for business. They know me for entrepreneurship. They don't know me as a fashionista. They don't know me as, they know me for business and entrepreneurship. I've had the same messaging since 2009 when I put a focus on small businesses. That's how people know me. There's no question about it. There are sometimes, and if you will pay close attention, I don't post politics. I try not to. I love God and got nothing to do with that. I don't post religion or anything that feels controversial because that is my business. I'm not telling you how to show up on social media, but I am telling you that when I get ready to post something, I give it thought to say, is this going to be effective in what I need to do, which is grow my business, whether it's my network marketing business, my business coaching business, whatever that space is, my speaking engagements where I'm training and speaking for other organizations, whatever it is, I want to make sure I'm showing up in that space and that my messaging is consistent. My branding is consistent, right? I have switched the branding a little bit. Most people knew Water Walker, but they didn't know Michelle Johnson. So I need people to know Michelle, right? So that's been my switch in branding, but I gradually did that. And I still will use from time to time hashtag Water Walker. Speaking of hashtags, you need to develop your own hashtags. You need to know what works. I've got an app that I use that helps me determine which hashtags are getting feedback and are getting leverage, right? So I say, and I put goofy here, sometimes people are showing up on social media just goofy. They got too much going on, you all over the place. And to be honest, that makes people not want to do business with you. So you gotta show up as that business owner. Is that a lot of pressure sometimes? Yes. Is that a lot sometimes because you wanna play and have fun? Yes, and I'm not saying don't play and have fun. I will post some things that are calculated to be fun, but if you'll notice, when I post those things, I get immediate engagement. I have posted something that was funny and I had it shared over 18 times and liked over, I mean, I can post a picture and I'll get 1,000 likes on it, but guess what? My next post about an hour and a half, 2 hours later is business, because now I've got engagement on my page, and that means I'm tricking the algorithms on Facebook, right? So what happens next is the next thing I post, because people liked it and they shared it, is that the next thing I post, I'm gonna show up on their algorithms. So you gotta know how to outsmart the algorithms on Facebook for it to be effective. And show up where you are growing. My space has always been Facebook and LinkedIn, and I do have a presence there. I am growing my presence on Instagram. I am growing that because, again, that switch from Wada Walker to Michelda, I had to switch those accounts. But you need to make sure that your branding now is consistent and that you are utilizing, leveraging, and showing up in that space in a consistent manner. Does that make sense? And so whatever that is, and don't be goofy about it, right? Make sure that you are showing up. And for some of you, YouTube is the way you need to show up. For some of you, Facebook and putting your clothes on Facebook for the boutique, right? Having and doing kind of a store. And there's so many things that you can do with that, but how you're showing up and what that messaging is truly going to make a difference. Email. Whew, you have to be able to offer something for people to want to be a part of your email tribe, right? People aren't just giving you their email address, right? So what is that exchange rate? What are you offering that's a freebie? What are you offering that says, and when you got to have substance with the freebie, right? You can't just say, I'm going to get y'all, I want your email, I'm going to do something, and there's no substance with it, right? But you need to find a way, and we've got some things that really work in developing your email marketing campaigns. There was 2 days at the fourth quarter of last year where Instagram wasn't working, and then Facebook, because you know they're owned by the same folks, right? So Instagram and Facebook are not working. What happens to your business if you can't get to your clients via Instagram and Facebook, right? That's the real question, right? So you got to make sure that you have a way to connect with people so that you can get the word out, get the messaging out, and still connect with your clients. If you are not collecting email addresses with your clients and building them in a MailChimp is free. I use ConvertKit. My website, and I'm just the tools, right? My website is Squarespace. And then I'm exploring on shopping carts because of the expansion. But right now I use PayPal for my shopping cart because it allows an easy mix with my Squarespace website. How are you showing up and what do you have in place? I started with MailChimp, but my list outgrew and the capacity of what I needed outgrew. So I needed to be able to do landing pages and funnels and to do automation. And I couldn't do that in a way that I wanted to in MailChimp. So I switched to ConvertKit. I love ConvertKit. I'm in love with ConvertKit. But that's not my ultimate. My ultimate is to deliver my webinars and my boot camps and all of that in Kajabi. So I'm throwing these out so that you know there's so much out there for you to leverage to help you. Now, where do you start? You start with people you know. You start with businesses that you know. You start with shoppers that you know. You start with people that you know, and you begin to expand. You collect those testimonials, right? You collect those opportunities to work with people. And then from there, you go out to other sources and really look at how do you leverage your business. I'm trying to stay mindful of the time. Step 2 is you need to position yourself, right? So step 1 is pivot. Now is the time to pivot. So I talked about Jonathan Hambrick, Big John's Barbecue. His vendor approached him and said, have you thought about just being a store? Like where people can get, now this is a restaurant that does takeout only, but now they're saying, can you be a store? Can you sell, you know, toilet paper and ground beef and this and that and that? And he's got the capacity in his cooler because now there's, you know, not able to get all of the meat and stuff that he needs to keep that business, you know, he's open 2 or 3 days a week, but now he can expand his capacity. Well, last year we started talking about the website. You got to get your website up and running. You got to be ready for e-commerce. You got to make sure people can order online, right? Because we know that he's moving as well to a food truck model. I hope I'm not telling too much of your business, Jonathan. So you got to get these things in place, right? And so as we're getting those things in place, guess what? He's being positioned. We didn't know this was going to happen. So when they call and say, can you? He's like, yes, because he's got those things in motion that now allow him to move forward with that. And if I could share his news, he moved forward. The web developer finished up everything. We added a shopping cart to that website. He'll be able to put online the items that he will have from a grocery store standpoint in the store. If you are a consumer, you'll be able to go to either the website or the app, select the things that you want. He'll put them in that brown paper bag or plastic or whatever he's going to use. And then when you pull up, you say, I'm here, and he can bring that, or whoever can bring that. And nobody's in the store shopping, right? He's able to insulate himself, his business, his employees, and his consumers. They love the idea so much. He put together a video to really share with the community the pivot that was being put in place. And now the store on a national level, his supplier, they want to take that and use that as the model for other businesses. Guys, that's what we mean about being in position. You got to know what you are called to do, right? I'm not here to convince anybody that they need to show up as an entrepreneur. Those that know they need to show up as an entrepreneur will show up as an entrepreneur. It is up to you to absolutely determine, what am I being called to do and how will I show up? You've got to know what sets you apart from your competition, and from there, develop your strategy for winning, right? I know I'm called to be an entrepreneur and to train, coach, and develop other entrepreneurs. I have no doubt about that. I've been consistent with that. That's all I've done since 2009, right? Now, I'm sure about that. What are you called to do? And then how does that relate to the marketplace? How do you bring that talent into the marketplace? What will set you apart from your competition? And what is your strategy? What's your game plan? Sometimes our biggest challenge is we've never taken the quiet time to write out the game plan, to plan it all out, to say, this is how I see it rolling out. This is what I see happening. So we have an idea here, but we've never strategized it on paper. We've never looked at it and said, how does this work? How do I flow from step A to step B and then to C and to D? And what do I need along the way to get there? Because there may be some interim steps. So what happens is sometimes we want to take step 10 and we've not walked through step 2 through 8, right? We want to get to step 20, but we haven't started with the steps that we needed to start with so that we can go through the process. And that's what you've got to do, is not be afraid of the process, because the process will position you. I just said that with Jonathan Hambrick. The process positioned him. I mean, come on, who wants to sit down and develop a website? Because then you got to write out all the stuff and you got to deal back and forth. But guess what? That positioned him to be able to go and to be able to pivot on this really, really fast. So what is your strategy and what does that look like? And guys, listen, you cannot do this in a vacuum. So many people do this alone. So they don't have anybody really that's looking at the strategy for them to help them determine how do they win. Again, who are you looking for and who's looking for you? And have you put in place effective market research? I think I have hit that one, so I'm gonna keep moving so that I don't belabor that point. Number 3, you gotta prep. So here's the key part right now, is where does that preparation come into place? Number 1, what are you going to offer? In this next 30 days, what are you offering as a business owner? What is your go-to item? What is your sale item? What are you offering? I've seen people offering a myriad of things that I didn't think they would offer. I've seen hairstylists that I didn't know that could do wigs, but now they're offering wigs that you can buy online. right? I've seen people offering services, coaching, counseling. I'm watching this one gym that I was really interested in, but I couldn't get to them because they were too far away from me. Now they're live on Instagram. And as long as you got a subscription, you can get your workout in on Instagram. Y'all, how are you showing up? D Nice. Listen, DJ, right? D Nice. Okay, how many of y'all didn't even know who D Nice was, right? Because he old school like me. I'm sorry. D Nice, right? Now D Nice is looking at contracts. He had celebrities. He had everybody and their mama on his thing. Guess what? He didn't think about it. He just did it. And that is, and we'll get there in a minute, so many of you are overthinking the process. So what can you offer right now? What coaching can you offer? What consulting can you offer right now? I called out Tamalisa Washington for life coaching. Guys, I'll use that as an example. People need life coaching right now. People are paranoid. They're not sure. And sometimes what happens is we diminish our value because it's everyday knowledge for us. Let me give you an example. When I get in a zone of talking business, I can go at it. I can ask Jonathan. Jonathan wrote in there, all gas, no brakes. You're right. When I get in a business environment where I'm talking strategy and let's look at this and let's do this, I'm on it, I'm done it, da 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 da. Because that comes easy for me. That is not hard for me. That is the way I'm wired. That is the way I am gifted. That is the way I show up. Now, for somebody else, Jennifer Yoakley, you start talking fitness, that's how she shows up. That's how she's wired. Nutrition, fitness, what to do, how to work this muscle, she got that. That's how she's wired. Don't ask me. I know enough information to be dangerous. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you got to look at and realize and don't diminish what you offer. There is a need and a niche for everything that you are offering. You just got to step in and put the processes in place. Whether it's consulting, webinars, right? People need help and they want information. Ebooks. How many of you have been trying to figure out when am I going to write the book? Write the book now, Anime. It's time to write the book. And then what is your product suite? What are you going to offer? What are you offering to your clients? What makes sense to them, right? So you got to have something in place that you are willing to offer. In doing that, you've got to assess, I promise you I'm almost finished. You've got to assess your current tools and your current structure. Does what you have get you to where you want to be? What does your website look like? If I were to look at your website today, would it entice me to buy from you? What do you have on your website? Does it even make sense? The things that you have on your website, right? What and how are you showing up in the marketplace? Do you have an email marketing program where you can reach out to your clients, where you can reach out to your customers? Are you able to do and pivot and do fitness on Instagram like this gym that I'm watching here in Atlanta, where they have now a subscription? They rolled that baby out so fast and immediately went to an IG platform where their clients are now still working out, but they're working out in an IG platform subscription base. Are you able to pivot like that? Do you have landing pages, funnels, website, a shopping cart that people can buy from you and keep it moving so that it automates the process? And that is the challenge, right? So many online businesses, once you get it done, then it's all automated. But getting it done is the key. And listen, like I said, so many people have said, I just don't have time. You have nothing but time now. You get to show up and you get to put in the work and get it done. What do you have an app, right? I talked about Jonathan Hambrick. We're developing that app. He's developing that app because I'm just coaching. I just coach. I love it. Assess what you have and what you need. So you need to absolutely do a SWOT analysis and an assessment of what you have and what you need. And when I say SWOT analysis, somebody type it in the chat for me. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities you have? And what are the threats? What are your strengths? I'm waiting on somebody to chat to type it for me. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What opportunities do you have? What are the threats? SWOT analysis, right? Very, very, very important. Step 4, you got to profit. You're going to profit, right? You got to get through step 1, 2, and 3. You got to pivot. You got to prep. You got to position. You got to prep in order to get to the profit, right? And so many people want to see the profit, but they haven't put in the work that is required. They haven't done the, you know, the 30-day social media calendar and how to build your social media presence in 30 days. They haven't leveraged what they already have in place. They haven't cleaned up their presence. Most of you don't even have a decent bio on your Instagram page or on your social media page for me to even know who you are and what you do. That's a big problem. So some of it is just the basics and saying, let's clean this up so we can get to a stage where it makes sense, clean it up, and then move forward from there. Here's what I'm going to tell you. It's time to mess it up. If you're going to profit, you got to mess it up. Just do it, right? Don't look for, I got to be absolutely perfect at it. I got to do it this way. I got to do it that way. Just mess it up and go. This is that season. So many of you have been stuck in the same place, looking for whatever that moment is. This is that moment. Mess it up, go to work, get it done, and let's move forward and see what's going to happen in your, I mean, it is going to be phenomenal. Don't wait for perfection, right? That is my issue. I want it to be perfect before I will roll anything out. And that perfect means that I'm not timely sometimes, I'm not this sometimes, I'm not that sometimes, I'm not whatever. But can I tell you, you cannot wait for perfection. Perfect it as you go. Because if you try and perfect it and, you know, you will just mess it up. Don't wait for perfection. Don't just mess it up. Keep it moving and realize that you will, as you go, you'll make adjustments. You'll make corrections. You'll get those things together. And before you know it, you'll have a fully automated system that is truly paying you while you sleep. And then capture this window in time, guys. I cannot share enough about how you are in the right place and at the right time. I cannot share enough about how important it is. The tools are there. Develop your plan, work your plan, and roll it out. Can I encourage you, get a schedule. One of the things I didn't talk about, even with mindset, start with affirmations. Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? You need to affirm yourself, your purpose, your vision every single day. You need to sit in that space of quietness. Don't show up empty-handed. Show up with your journal. Show up with your notebook. Y'all, listen. You will get your divine inspiration and thought. You will get those things that really help you grow, that really help you understand what your business can do. You will get some out-of-the-box thinking and some out-of-the-box things to do if you'll show up in that space. You'll take those quiet moments. You show up with that notebook and you allow the download, right? You gotta sit in it. You gotta sit in it. Stop sitting on the outside looking in. Be it. Sit in it. Live in it. Walk in it. Breathe in it. And allow it to bless you and take you to that next level. This is truly that defining moment. So what will you do? Will you commit to yourself? Can I tell you, you are worth that commitment. You are worth it. You deserve it. Your family deserves it. Everything about you deserves this moment. And I don't know about you, but I've been stuck. I've been when, I've been why, I've had questions. If I'm being transparent, there have been some really hard years, but guys, can I tell you that you have to make the commitment to yourself, number one, that you are going to change those limiting beliefs. You're going to show up with a posture that's indicative of the giftings that's on the inside of you, and you're going to show up strong and really make a difference in your business. You're going to affirm yourself. And then you got to understand that success requires action. Y'all, this is not the time to sit in front of Netflix. Love Netflix, ain't got no problem with them, other than I found out I'm paying for somebody else's Netflix, whatever. Develop your plan. Step one, what do you want to accomplish in the next 30 days, right? What is your niche? Who is your demographic? Who are you serving? Where do you find them? Right? And then what do you deliver to them? What does your marketing strategy look like? What does your social media look like? Who is on your social media? What do your posts look like? What should your posts be? Should you do live? Should you not do live? Do you need a website? Do you need a shopping cart, right? All of those things are part of your plan. And then once you develop that plan, get that notebook, guys. And my prayer is that after this webinar, you will be so charged with ideas that you won't even be able to sleep well tonight because of the download, my goodness, that is going to come as a result of just listening in on this webinar. I want to see you download that creativity. I want to see it, take a picture of it and send it to me, because I know that success leaves clues. It requires action. And if you take the time to really do the assessment and then implement it, guys, you will see that step 4 where you begin to prosper. And the final thing is your work ethic. Many of you are home. You are not working right now. Did you leave your work ethic at your job? If you left your work ethic at your job, we got problems. But if you're home right now, you should have brought your work ethic with you to work harder on your dreams than what you were doing on somebody else's dreams, right? This is that defining moment. So you got to commit to the process. Remember what I said, 90% of people will not take action. 90% will listen and will walk away, and the limiting beliefs will tell them, you can't do this. You are not ready for this. This is not your season or your time. Don't you dare believe that. You are absolutely in the right place and at the right time. And this is absolutely the season for you to come and do the things that you have been commissioned to do. So commit to the process. Now, I hope the information was valuable. I need your feedback. And I will send out a survey, or if you want to just comment here. I want to know if the feedback was valuable for you, if this information was valuable on really how to get started. It all starts with your plan. It all starts with positioning. It all starts with research. It all starts with analysis, right? Sometimes what we want to do is we want to start with the book. No, you got to get moving too. You got to do some research before you get to that, right? Now, here's what I would say to you. I've been doing this for a long, long, long time. And I have always had a coach. I have always had somebody that was instrumental to me in helping me get to the next level. I have a coach now, and she is phenomenal. I've always had a coach, and I have a coach in the different aspects of the businesses that I'm in. So if I'm in network marketing, I got a network marketing coach, right? Whatever aspect of business, but I overall have a business coach who is valuable for me. And I want to help you. I want to help you show up in the space in a way that you've never shown up before. So what I'm offering is a 30-day boot camp. In this 30-day boot camp, this is what you will get. Now, I've shared with you and I've talked to you about what needs to be done. And a lot of people will say, that was a lot. And it was. There is no way in a 1-hour webinar I can truly detail for you everything that needs to be done. There is no way I can get you there. I gave you a template. I gave you a framework of where to start. The next 30 days, though, are pivotal. They are important, and you've got to roll up your sleeves and do the work. So I'm offering a 30-day boot camp. Soup to nuts, A to Z, let's get started with your business, right? So here's what that boot camp will look like. There'll be a secret Facebook group that only those individuals that are part of the boot camp will be permitted in. And in that group, you'll get weekly instructions and assignments, right? So again, this is about you showing up for your success. I'm gonna put the information out there. I'm gonna do lives. I'm gonna do the weekly instructions, the assignments, the workbooks, all of that. It'll be there every single week. Typically, you'll get anywhere from 2 to 3 days a week, live instruction on what to do next. I think I've just dried out my throat and I probably need real water. In this boot camp, we're going to show you and teach you how to define your niche and how to clarify your purpose. We're going to teach you how to identify your customer and build your following. Some of you, that is your biggest challenge, is you've not done the research to figure out who is my demographic, who am I reaching for, who is my customer, who will buy from me. And then we're going to talk about social media and what should you be doing on social media. Now, this is a fast program. I used to do a 90-day boot camp, and I'm trying now to put what I was doing in 90 days in 30 days. So we're going to move and move fast. You're going to get information, homework, but you got to do the work. I'm going to put it, I'm going to help you. I'll be there. As well, what I'm going to do is every single week, and it'll be on Saturday morning, typically from 10 to 12, will be a study hall. That's not a training session. That's not anything. That means I'm going to send you a Zoom ID. We will get on Zoom, and you working and I'm working. And if you've got any questions in that 2-hour period, I'm going to answer those questions. But you'll have a 2-hour study hall every single week to get immediate answers on questions that you have. You will also get a 1-hour one-to-one coaching with me. Mr. Hambrick can tell you what I charge. So, yes, sir. Don't. But a 1-hour one-to-one coaching, right? Because I want to make sure that you're getting value for it. And the class will start next Monday. So next Monday, we will roll it out. We'll get started. You'll start getting assignments on Sunday evening, first thing Monday morning, and then we're go from there. Your bonus is going to be training from 3 industry experts on key and relevant topics for now success. So I'm going to have somebody to come in and really talk about how to build your presence in social media, and what to do and how to structure that. I'll have somebody else to really talk about how should your books be set up. I've got so many business owners now that their books aren't even set up right? So we got to go back to the basics of what should you be tracking so that you know in advance what. I want you to have those things set up in advance. So we'll talk about some of that. I still have my book, Water Walker 101, Moving Forward with Purpose. I will send you a copy of that book. If you already have a copy, then I'll send you my next book, which is Unsticking Your Stuck. And then I will give you a 15% discount on any future one-to-one coaching that you desire. Now, the value of this is $1,497. Again, I'm putting a 90-day boot camp into 30 days, and the study hall, the lessons, the workbook, the exercises, the webinars, you can reach me. You'll be able to, whatever you need, that's what this, I'm putting this $1,500 package together But I feel so strong about the time, the season, and the space that we're in that I'm offering the 30-day boot camp for just $77. I'm going to type the link in the, yeah, okay. It didn't hyperlink, did it? Well, that's the link. You can copy it and paste it. Let me see if I can do it this way. No, because if I click it, it's going to select it. MichelleDeJohnson.com/pivot bootcamp is the link. $77, 30 days, all of that, $77. Now, I'm going to tell you, be ready to work. That's all I can tell you. Be ready to work. We're going to hit it. We're going to start on Monday. I truly look forward to working with you guys. If that makes sense to you, just say I'm in, right? If that makes sense to you, just say I'm in. I'm even willing that if you need to break that down into 2 payments, you can do that. Just, you got to inbox me separately so I know that. But I'm doing this for $77, 30-day boot camp. We're going to walk through website, email listing, how to show up online, what that presence looks like, your finances. Some of you haven't even set up your business, how to set up your business, how to get your EIN. I mean, we'll go as simple or as complex as you allow me to go. Canva, the tools and resources that you need, how to pull things out and get them done, how to develop your product suite, all the things that you need to do. I want to help you get those things done and get them done pretty fast. So I want to help you scale and scale pretty quickly. So in these next 30 days, click that link and I'll get the information as soon as that comes through. And get you added to that page. And guys, it is going to be phenomenal. I am so excited. Guys, here's what I know. Chaos and distraction is what you see when you take your eyes off of your purpose. In this season, stay focused on your purpose. Be very, very, very diligent to stay focused on your purpose. Be very diligent. And I said this at the beginning of the webinar. Yes, we realize stuff is going on. Yes, we realize things are happening. Yes, we realize that stuff is going on all around us. You have got to be focused on your purpose. You deserve it. Your family deserves it. Everything around you, everybody around you deserves it. Stay focused on your purpose and watch and see amazing things are going to happen. I'm so excited. Thank you all so much. Are there any questions before I close this out? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? I want to pause for just a few minutes. Yay, girl boss. Yay, thank you. Tell me your name because I don't want to just call you girl boss. Hey, girl boss, she's joining us. I think that's Lamadra. Hey, sweetheart, today's your birthday. Oh, that's right, Tanisha. How are you, my dear? Am I saying it right, Tanisha? Happy birthday. Oh, my goodness. Tomalisa, life coach extraordinaire. Oh, my goodness, showing up in that space. Treva, what is going on? Hey, sis, how are you? So excited. Jennifer Yoakley, yes, 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 I love it. Both you and Lamadra are in fitness, so I love that because y'all can really bounce ideas. Y'all are in 2 different markets, so that really works out very well. So excited about that. I am so excited. Guys, listen, this is going to be phenomenal. If you know any other entrepreneurs, yep, QuickBooks. We're going to talk about, I love QuickBooks. That is my favorite. There's a freebie out there that you can use, but if you can afford QuickBooks and QuickBooks Online, that is the best that I would recommend. But you got to make sure that you are setting it up so that it's effective for you. And I have to look up the freebie. There's one that is good if you just need a free resource. But I love QuickBooks Online, and they do have a promotion. The other thing about QuickBooks is if TurboTax does your tax return, and I don't know if you've already done your tax return or not, but if TurboTax does your tax return, then they give you free access to QuickBooks. So something to think about for next year if you have already done your tax return, but it is not super expensive. And if you are doing the work, that means you are, oh, you've got an accountant. Okay. So I have an accountant, but I like to do my own monthly, I have an accountant, but I do my own monthly reconciliation, right? So, and it's so important to reconcile those bank statements monthly, because if you are not reconciling bank statements, you do not have a true picture of your profits or loss. You don't know what your revenue is. Unless you are reconciling stuff, you don't know what your profit or loss is. The other thing we're going to talk about is how to set up business credit, so that you are setting up and establishing business credit in your business name and not in your personal name. We got a lot to cover. Oh my goodness. If there is a particular topic that you really want me to touch on, then email me, inbox me. Okay, all right, I love it. Okay, email me, inbox me. And if, again, if there is a particular topic that you really want me to touch on, let me know that. I'm so excited. Guys, thank you so much for your time, for your attention. An hour and a half is what I had budgeted for this. So I do appreciate you guys staying in. I do appreciate you staying apart. And again, if you know other business owners, entrepreneurs who could absolutely take advantage of this, then please, please, please let them know, let me know, and let's all get in this together, roll up our sleeves over the next 30 days and grow our businesses. Y'all have an amazing night. Talk to you later. I need some real water. My coaches, my fitness folks are going to tell me this does not count as water, right? All right, guys, talk to y'all later. Thank you all so much. I'm so excited. So excited.